Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, this is your host Stasis, and this is StarCraft 2 Fight Night, presenting a best of 5 Terran vs Protoss series from the Korean StarCraft League Summer Slam. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, our Protoss player playing out of South Korea for Twisted Minds, winner of the 2019 Africa TV GSL Super Tournament 1, the Chin Toss. It is Classic. And his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, our Terran player playing out of South Korea as well for Onside Gaming, 7-time GSL champion. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Maru. And again, this series, a best of 5 in the KSL Summer Slam. You're already underway. Maru with the bunker being built on the high ground there. Classic already with the probe scouts sent across the map here. Maru with his own SCV also being sent across the map here. Classic giving him a little lick on the way out there. And it's going to be a Reaper first as well from this barracks. Maru, as we all know, an extremely dangerous and potent player. And that rings especially true against Protoss, against other Protoss players, as he's got a 64.7% win rate. And part of that reason may be because he can be unpredictable at times and just be annoying at times, as well as we do have a bunker being built behind the natural mineral line here. Classic sending a few probes here to try to get at that SCV. SCV being annoying and pesky here. Will retreat. Oh, just kidding. Giving them the runaround here. Wants to finish it in time for the Reaper. Unfortunately, that won't happen. Great little pickoff there for Classic, who does kill the SCV. Maru also able to pick off a probe with his Reaper there. But most importantly, the bunker did not go down. That would have been even more of a headache there for Classic. Classic now, it's his turn to try to get some annoying little damage on Maru's side of the map. Wants to send the Stalker across, but thinks better of it, it looks like, sending it back home, as that Reaper will be coming in here again. There's no units to speak of here on the low ground, so this Reaper is going to have open season on these probes. Instead wants to dive into the main base here, get a scout off, and we'll see, in fact, that Classic is already working on a Stargate here. That's going to be his first tech opening in this matchup. And Stargate, pretty good, pretty solid choice here in this matchup. We could see Oracles, we could see Phoenixes. And that's, well, that's really it. You're not going to see any Void Rays, really. Maybe when the new patch comes out and Void Rays have their increased speed, or did they take that out? Not quite sure, I can't quite remember. In any case, Maru about to take his natural base here. Has a medevac picked up on the way across the map here. I think Classic did see that medevac with the Adept. Do think that is the case, as the Adept is going to go back home. Classic angling like he wants to take his third base. Yeah, Classic all over this medevac drop here. Widowmine will burrow and actually gets the Phoenix there. Little bit too slow there for Classic. The Phoenix already taking some damage. They can normally tank a single Widowmine shot, but in this case, the Phoenix already taking some damage from the Marines. Now gonna have to wait on another Phoenix to come in here and rely on the Stalkers to defend this drop. Is Classic. Will lose a Stalker. Widowmine will re-burrow here. Already 8 probes have gone down here for Classic. These Marines getting a ton of value. Another Stalker will go down. Has to rely on another Warpin to try to fend this off. And we will eventually get all cleaned up here, but at heavy, heavy cost. 10 probes have gone down. Classic just barely ahead of Maru in the worker count. And when you're the Protoss player here, you certainly want to be more than just barely ahead. Behind this Maru, double Cyclone, and a Raven as well. Raven extremely potent against robotics units, and we can see here Classic already has Robotics Bay. Lately, Classic, as I said, known for his robo-based style, and it looks like we'll be seeing some more of that today, as he does already have the Robotics Bay dropped down here. No third base yet to speak of from Classic. That may be dropping here soon, may be delayed, of course, due to the probe losses that he's taking, but quickly probing up as well is Classic. Maru right now just working on +1 attack here. Trying to get his barracks count up as well. Pump out some siege tanks. And he is sitting pretty here. He's done already a decent amount of damage so far. And is enjoying a bit of an income advantage as well, thanks in part to mules. He'll be using that to power up. His push here going to be a little bit later than it usually is. But he is now gathering his forces, and this is a pretty scary looking force here. 2 tanks, 2 Cyclones, Raven. Gonna guard the third base being plopped down here before eventually moving out. Extended Thermal Lance and Colossus being produced here. Or Classic. Only working off of 2 gates as well. He's got 2 gates, a Stargate, although he hasn't been making much out of the Stargate as of late, and a single Robo. And that is Classic for you. Likes to rely on a relatively low gateway count in the beginning. He can make do with that as he pumps out his higher tech units. And we'll see if it's going to be enough to help defend against this push here from Maru, as we do have the 2 Cyclones locking on to a Stalker. Not able to get too much damage here, but that Raven going to be a death sentence to these 2 Colossus here. Classic has to be so careful with the positioning of his units. Doesn't have too many to work with now. More lock-ons by the Cyclones here. Great spread out with these shield batteries in the back. Going to give Classic some more help in this army. Force fields do go down. Marines stimming in. 2 interference matrix on these Colossi. So no splash against these Marines. All these other gateway units on the low ground are going to be taken out. These Colossi still out of the fight. Classic trying as best as he can to keep these units alive. Finally, the Colossus are into action, and there is 3 of them, but they do need gateway units to help tank for them. Maru, though, is causing mayhem on third base of Classic and also wants to push forward. A very strong push out of Maru already to start off this first game in this series here. And this may just be game for Classic, as well as this Colossus just barely gets saved by the shield battery there. Great positioning by Classic. Maru smells blood in the water, though. He will be continuing forward, and here's just a single Colossus here to try to fend off this entire Terran army. Actually doing a relatively decently job. Colossus, though, finally will go down. Slow Stalkers being warped in. And you know when it's down to just slow Stalkers being warped in, that you are in a rough spot. Classic knows it. He taps out, and Maru will take game number 1 in this best of 5 series. And we are underway here for game 2 in this best of 5 between Maru and Classic. Classic down 1 game already in this series, as the double siege tank, singular Raven, double Cyclone push from Maru in the previous match was extremely effective at shutting the Colossus Classic down and ultimately spelling his demise. Although an extremely valiant attempt at defense there for Classic, he actually lasted a lot longer than one would expect when you've got both your Colossus out of commission for that long. Able to keep things afloat, and I think that is a testament to how good Classic has been playing as of late. He didn't just roll over right away for Maru, whereas most Protoss players would have. Classic stayed in the fight, tried to do as much as he could. Coming in here again, Maru, though, all over this probe. Probe not going to be able to get too much done here. We'll slightly bruise two of these SCVs. May be useful later for some depth pressure or some oracle pressure as well. Gonna just try to work on blocking this low ground command center. And taking a peek up into the main base. The sparring between these two workers going in favor of Classic so far. We'll get that SCV down. The Classic, sensing that a unit is on the way out of the barracks, will be departing. And another bunker right in the face of Classic here is Maru. The disrespect for Classic. Because even though Classic was able to shut this down in the previous match, that's not going to dissuade Maru at all from trying it again, even though it looks like, yeah, pretty quickly. It's almost surprising, I guess, how quickly Maru was okay with just abandoning it. Maybe getting the bunker up wasn't even his plan at all. He may have just wanted to force Classic to force the drone pull, thereby hurting his economy slightly. SCV will be going back. Reaper just working on this base here, denying some mining even though the base isn't really even up yet. Adept actually will complete the Shades, trying to chase this Reaper on out. Classic, this time going with a Twilight Council this game, so wants to get some aggression going early with some gateway units. And is already working on Warp Gate there from the Cyber. So maybe seeing Blink as well. We've already got, I believe, 2 Stalkers out on the field for Classic. And it is indeed going to be Blink. Maru working on some Widow Mines. Already has a Starport as well. Looking to do a Widow Mine drop as we do have a Medevac on the way out. Kuro, thank you so much, man, for stopping by. Thank you for letting me know that my stream title is not correct. I think I need to restart my stream in order to fix it. But have a good night. Appreciate all your help. As this medevac will be going across the map again. Maru got a lot done with his first medevac drop in the previous match. We'll be looking to do some of the same this game. We'll see if Classic has been able to improve his defense slightly. There are more Stalkers here, and they are ready to go. Widowmine will drop. There's the immediate drone pull away, and this medevac will go down, so these Marines now are stranded. These Stalkers do have Blink. Please, Classic, do not send your probes back. He is sending them back because the Widowmine is unburrowed. Sends them right back away to avoid the Widowmine shot. Expertly done there by Classic, who cleans up everything with far, far fewer losses than in the previous match. Maru as well, transitioning into some Blink Banshees here. You don't see that every day against Protoss, but he sees some sort of opportunity here. He sees some sort of timing, and to be fair, it would be incredibly unexpected at this moment, even though Classic already working on an Observer. Already has one out as well, so we'll have a couple of Observers to help deal with these Cloaked Banshees. And there's the first one coming in. No shield battery to speak of in the main base. Observer is also out of position, so this Banshee gonna have some kills here. A probe buffet, all you can eat. And so far, all it can eat right now is 4, and that's a pretty good number. So we'll dip out of here and just bide its time, waiting for some more opportunities later. Classic got a fast Templar Archives and morphing in an Archon. Does he want to get Storm? That's the question here. Obviously, if you got an early Templar Archives, you're going to want to get Storm here. Again, the Banshee comes in. There is an Observer this time. So Banshee will be zoned out there by the Archon. Another Banshee coming through here. Maru double pronging it here with the Banshees, being tenacious with his harassment. Senses some kind of weakness in the defense of Classic here. Although Classic actually doing a pretty good job so far of defending. He is equal relatively on workers with Maru at this point, though. How many workers have been lost here? 11. 11 workers have been lost in this match so far. It didn't feel like nearly that much, but that's actually a pretty decent number to have. Remembering that a Widowmine has made no connections with probes at all in this match yet. Banshee gonna get another 4 kills here, damaging Classic's economy just as he's about to move out here with this little hit squad move out. We'll be sending these forces back. Storm is on the way here for Classic. Maru getting himself set up with stim combat shields +1 attack. 2 more barracks is on the way. Wants to ideally move out relatively soon as he takes this 3rd base here. Classic will have Storm to meet him as it is just about to finish up. We do also have 2 High Templar already gathering energy here, so we'll have some Storms to deal with this, but the Storm placements have to be clutch. If anybody can place decent Storms, however, it is Classic. Again, he's very much used to using these high-tech Protoss units early on in his matches. So I've got faith here. It's going to be down to the splits of Maru, and again, the placement of Classic. Sending over a Widowmine drop again, quadruple Widowmine drop. Fainting with this little Bioforce in the middle here. Looking to try to get some more damage done. In the main base, there is not much to speak of. We do have a High Templar which can send a feedback off on this medevac as it comes in. We'll be dropping the mines though, uncontested. Probes will get pulled away. They are not fast enough, and a big connection there on the main mineral line of Classic. 20 workers going down, 2 more Widowmine drops in the natural base. Banshee coming in. It is chaos being caused in the mineral lines of Classic. Maru doing what he does best and just being absolutely devastating here on the offense. But wait, there's more. Main army is marching across the map right now. Classic 20 worker supply down compared to Maru. Maru stims forward, does a scan. Decent Storm will zone away the bio initially there. And another Storm also lands, severely damaging a lot of those bio units. They will get healed up by the medevacs, but their energy is a resource in and of itself. Classic does have a decently sized army here, and also looking for the spread here to avoid those EMPs. Now his army is pumped up. Another big Storm lands there, and Classic may see an opportunity as he will be pressing forward here. Zealots in the front, Stalkers blinking forward, trying to snipe a tank. We'll get both here. Widowmines connecting with everything, friend and foe. Ultimately, though, this does get cleaned up here by Classic, who is pressing forward. Will not have a blink to capitalize on that 1 medevac full of units, but is pressing his advantage is Classic, and he needs to do so as he did take a huge economic loss earlier. Now continuing to press forward. Classic may be able to put game number 2 in the bag here for himself and tie the series up, or Maru may be able to defend this. Classic will back off a little bit and is content with taking this 3rd base. SCVs bundled up here get absolutely eviscerated by these Archons. Great little bit of revenge there from Classic, who was able to actually cause a significant amount of damage here. Another big Storm lands on these bio units. Those are some severely weakened bio units. Classic firmly in the driver's seat in just the blink of an eye. Sitting back on 3 bases now. Both of these players have done so much damage to each other that they're both on 47 workers apiece. 10 minutes in already, and Classic sending over his own little drop here with the War Prism for Zealot drop. Can do a lot done here. But Maru actually, Spidey sense is tingling, sends these Vikings. They're just going to be out of range, although War Prism will get sandwiched. Drops 3 of its 4 payload here. And Classic will also recall these boys out. Wants to use them for his main push here. No fourth base yet for Classic. Maru just retaking his third base just now. Again, I do give the lead currently to Classic at this moment, but both of these players have severely battered the other. So they will need some time to lick their wounds, regain their strength before moving out again. I did hear a Widow Mine go off, but no connections there to speak of. Medevac does get taken out there. Maru again working on his ghost count here. 4 ghosts going up to 5. And Classic just now working on his armor upgrades. Maru is just finishing his first armor upgrade here. Both of these players were on +1 attack for the majority of this game. Now Classic gearing up for a big push here. Does have the army supply advantage. And this is actually looking pretty scary here for Maru. Classic does have storms to utilize. Maru gets whiff of the danger now. Will just immediately evacuate. Doesn't even want to risk his base or his SCVs. Classic zoning out with the storms. War Prism is taken out. That's going to be a bit of a hit there for Classic. But the economic damage to Maru is greater here, as he's still not able to regain this third base here. Classic trying to angle like he wanted to take another fight. If it weren't for this choke point, he may well just pull the trigger now. But Maru expertly using pathing there, the choke points. Another decent storm lands for Classic. He says, don't follow me, this is what's going to happen to you. Blinks off to the side to try to avoid Widowmine shots. The Zealots continuing forward, their lives for ire. Trying to tank for all these Protoss units. A Classic is careening forward. Maru pulling the boys. This could be game 2 here for Classic, doing so much damage to the economy of Maru. More bio comes in though, and looks like it will start clearing this up. 11 SCVs have gone down in the aftermath though, and Maru surely cannot continue taking hits like this. Although it is Maru, if anybody can take hits like that, it's certainly going to be him. He's not giving up as well on continuing to try to harass on the other side of the map. More Widow Mines in this medevac here. At the same time, another fight between these two armies in front of the third base of Classic. Classic cannot be too distracted here. No shield battery to speak of in front of this third base. Widow Mine drop. We'll get into the natural base. Is Classic paying attention? He is not, and these Widow Mines will connect pretty decently there with those probes. Another decent connection with the storm there. Maru spreading his Widow Mines every which way, just like that in the blink of an eye. 13 probes have gone down. Just when it seemed like Classic was ahead economically, Maru again switches things up here. And again, heading towards this third base. But the storm placements have been money for Classic here. Some of the best storm placements that I've seen. He's been utilizing those to zone out Maru and to actually get a lot of damage. A lot of times Protoss players, they place storms down. Sometimes it ends up hitting their Zealots more than Terran. But in these cases, Classic storms have been pretty much dead center a lot of the time here. Maru angling now for this fourth base. Again, no shield battery to speak of here. Classic still trying to lick his wounds from the Widow Mine drop earlier. Is down in army supply here. We'll have some high Templar, but Maru just content with sniping this third base. More Widow Mine drops. Maru is relentless with these. Classic cannot catch a break here. Down to 38 workers. 15 minutes in this match. That is not where you want to be, and Maru has miraculously turned this match around. Again, he is now looking to be in the driver's seat. He is the one with 4 bases, when just before he was having the hardest time recapturing this third base. Classic knows he's got to put something together. Does have a lot of storms here to use, so we'll be trying to move across the map to get something done here. Wants to take the high ground position. We'll be blinking in. That is a full-on Widow Mine field there. We'll be preventing Classic from careening forward. Big storm lands dead center in the middle line. Maru trying to get the decent spreads off. Classic trying to poke in, trying to find the angles for himself. So far, none to be found here. More Widow Mines connecting in the third base. What else is new for Classic, though? I'm sure he rolls his eyes at that. He's just continuing to press forward here. He knows it's do or die here on this third base of Maru. But Maru, extremely staunch defense here, utilizing the EMPs of the Ghost. This is a heavily Archon-based army, so the EMPs would be devastating to their shields. Now Classic in a full-on send it. Pull a trigger here, tries to snipe the third base and won't get it. But was it worth it? He lost a lot of army units here, and Maru senses that, wants to press forward, doesn't care about these Zealots powering through, and is just going to stim to win. Stutter steps to victory here in Game 2. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are underway here for game number 3 here. Match point for the 4th race here. Maru. His opponent, Protoss player Classic, having to do something different here to try to put a point on the board, try to hold the series. Otherwise, he will be knocked out of the tournament. This is a single elimination time. So Classic has to put it all on the line here if he wants to continue forward. Would certainly be an upset if he were to reverse sweep Maru. But I've got faith in him. It will not be an easy task, though. Certainly not. And so far this series, the probe harassment, the economic damage from Maru has really been the deciding factor here. Classic, while at first he's able to hold and defend, eventually Maru just keeps piling it on and on and on. He's relentless with his Widow Mine drops, with his medevac drops, and just constantly shanking Classic in the back there, making him bleed out economically. Maru plopping his command center down on the low ground. Marine first from this barracks, or moving into a reactor here. Classic kind of scouts around to see if there's any sort of proxy. Luckily for him, I mean, there's no proxies literally anywhere else that he didn't check out. As Maru doesn't feel like he needs to proxy, and I mean, why should he? He's been in such a dominant form in this series that he's content to just playing it nice and easy, smooth sailing here. Obviously, Classic wants to do everything in his power to make that not the case here, and he's gonna go Stargate first here to start that off. Will likely be an Oracle first, or maybe a Phoenix as well. Honestly, 50-50 in this matchup for Oracles or Phoenixes, both pretty good options. This is Adept. We'll shade in, try to get some vision here, see what Maru's up to. We'll complete the shade actually as Maru was hiding these Marines. Classic doesn't regret it though. He's gonna take a SCV on the way out before being killed here. Not an amazing trade. You do lose your forward map presence there. You lose your scouting with the shade. I mean, you do get an SCV at the end of the day, but Maru, you can see skillfully hiding his Marines behind the command center there, and that's truly what makes him, you know, the best of the best there. These little mind games, these small little adjustments that give him just a 2% advantage over everybody else. So it is going to be Phoenix first coming out of Classic. Going to be used to scout here. And I don't believe there are any Widow Mines yet on the field. So Phoenix will be safe there. Able to get a peek in. Maru, third CC, has just finished up, morphing into an orbital command. 2 Phoenixes already out here for Classic. Want to dive in here, maybe get some worker kills Gonna take a little bit of time as they just have a single pickup, and that one Phoenix gets severely damaged. Will make it out by the skin of its teeth there. Maru is giving chase here. He's expecting to find these Phoenixes, and he will catch them, it looks like. Classic with the pull away at the exact perfect moment, but again, running into more Marines here. These Phoenixes circling around. They do see the Marine move out here. And this could be the perfect counter to this Phoenix presence that Classic has on the map, as Marines can shred through Phoenixes. He does have a slightly larger army supply. Stim and Combat Shield very close to finishing up as well. This is going to be an extremely dangerous push here from Maru, who's looking to close out this series bright and early here. Does not want to give Classic a chance whatsoever, and Classic love these mind games. Maru sees no third base. Little does he know it's in an unconventional location. Maru doesn't know that though. He thinks Classic is still two basing him. And Classic is actually in a pretty decent position. He's got himself set up with a shield battery on the high ground. Immortal as well, a couple sentries to force field off the ramp. Maru may sense that there is something up, something is not quite, things are not quite what they seem here, as he is sending these Marines around. I don't know how he does it. He knows exactly where to go. Peekaboo, there's the base here. Classic has to get units over here ASAP if he wants to save this third base. I think these units may arrive just in time, or maybe not. Will be no. Classic has to cancel now, wants to get revenge on these Marines. Force fields do go down. Colossus is out as well, shredding through these Marines. Every single one of them will be taken out. But Maru, I think, does not mind too much, as getting a cancel on the third base is actually huge, as it is 6 minutes in. Classic does not have a third base up. He's just plopped it down where it should be. Classic, though, angling to move out on Maru's third base to get some damage done of his own, and he is higher up in the army supply here. Actually has a pretty scary looking army too, with the Colossus. Has an Immortal, has a couple gateway units, tank here, and has Phoenix as well. Boy's immediately going to be pulled. Maru is not playing around. He's not taking any chances here. Desperately wants to hold this 3-0 victory, and Classic trying to do everything in his power, but Maru stims in, deletes an Immortal, trying to work on the second Colossus here. Will get saved up towards the end. Classic has just enough here, but he's going to need so much more. Colossus finally will go down. More slow Zealots streaming in here. It is back and forth we go on the seesaw of action between these two players. The Classic finally forced to back off for a little bit here. You can tell he's playing just the tiniest bit frantically. Maybe I'm just I'm seeing things that are really not there. But when you're down 2-0 against Maru, and this is match point, I mean, how would you be playing? Classic, though, is looking pretty scary still. Again, rocking with the slow Zealots, although Charge has just finished up. So now these Zealots will be able to help even more. And what's going to be the response here from Maru? He knows, obviously, Classic going, Charge Lot, Colossus here, also working on some High Templar as well. And Maru working on some Widow Mines, will be devastating against those Zealots. And working on a bunch of Marauders as well. What is that Marauder count looking like? 12 Marauders, nearly as many Marines. And Marauders, I mean, they just wreck Colossus. It's actually comical to see a Colossus try to fight against just one Marauder, let alone 14 of them, or 7 apiece. As Classic does catch Maru's army a little bit out of position, will be pressing forward. Again, will force a pickup there on the third base of Maru. Maru's been in this situation before, though, where normally this would be a victory if you're the Protoss player. I think Classic even knows that this is still not going to be enough. He can deny this mining base all he wants. Maru somehow still manages to find a way to pull through here. As Maru also has another third base here that Classic may not be aware of, and Classic right now just sitting tight in front of Maru's natural base. is building up his army supply. These players relatively equal. And that is a huge Widow minefield, making big connections, absolutely delete the Zealots in front. Classic maybe wants to rethink his strategy before moving in here, but oh well, he pulls the trigger. Now Zealots stringing forward, boys being pulled, Colossus in the back, Vikings trying to work on them. All the Vikings will go down. This Colossus continuing to strike forward. It's just SCVs in the front now. More Widow mines will burrow up here. They get decent connections though, and Maru actually looks like he's clearing up every single bit of Classic's army. He GG's out. Maru takes the series